Welcome back to Steele and Vance. Very much looking forward to this next conversation, Linda. I mean, it's almost weekly that we are either talking about, drag queen story time and acceptance, or, the anger of threatened white old dudes, which we're going to get to, and what the hell is wrong with people.
Don't be saying that. They'll say, "Oh, you're racist." I got that today on Twitter.
Groomers.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a conversation about living your authentic life and doing it in a way that is fantastic, exciting, and change-making.
I've heard about this documentary. I did not get a chance to see it until just recently, but it is about a Vancouver model, a trans male model called Krow's Transformation. This was a brilliant, brilliant piece, and if you can find a way to see it. They just re-aired this the other day. I want to give you just a little taste of this journey that Krow walked on, from being a very successful female model to transitioning to being a very successful male model.
The first time I thought, wow, I should have been born a boy instead of a girl, was probably when I was either 10 or 11 years old, so. I never really understood the difference between genders when I was younger. I'd always been one of the guys. I never got along well with the girls. It was when they did sex ed class. What they did was they would split us up into boys and girls. Yeah, I always looked out the window and saw the boys playing football, and they got to play games while we had to learn about what grossness our body was gonna do when we got older.
Well, I'll tell you what, this has been a journey, as mentioned, and Krow has gone on to walk some runways and some big shows and land some major covers like GQ, cover of GQ. Look at this. Krow's
It gives me goosebumps. It's so great. Like, this is success. It doesn't matter who you are or how you are, this is success. And yet to be so open and talk about and share with the world the intricacies of the journey is special.
And just to really celebrate authenticity, who you are.
Krow, and making
Kian is with us in the studio. We're super excited. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me here.
It's so fun, and we have so much that I want to dig into that I know the time is going to scream by.
Right.
So can we just talk about, you got into modeling initially because you wanted to learn how to be a girl.
Yep.
Tell me more about that.
So I was probably only about 11, just recently turning 12, when I went to a friend's birthday party, and their mom had said that they thought, "Oh wow, you look like you're a model. Do you do modeling?" So I was like, "No." And then that kind of got me thinking, like, oh, that would actually be a good way to kind of learn how to be like less of one of the guys and more like a girl as per society wants me to be. Mm-hmm. So I talked to my mom about that, and we went to submit to an agency, and then from there it was just going off and doing modeling.
Take us on the journey of the family side of things, because the business side, I mean, we could talk about that for hours. I think that's so cool. Congratulations on all that you've achieved and what you will do moving forward. But talk about that conversation with your mom and how you explained who you are to her.
So that was much later on in the years. I think I was either just about 20 or already 20, because I know that I cut my hair when I was 18, and then I think it was, the later year of being 19. And I finally felt the confidence to be like, okay, well, I am legally my own guardian, so if she doesn't feel like she loves me unconditionally, if it is conditional love, then I still have a backup to not be homeless and unable to do any kind of medical procedures or anything like that. So initially going into it, I was quite scared, but I covered my ass, because I have way too many homeless friends that transgender, genderqueer, that their families just didn't accept them. So.
Really?
Yeah, so going into that, I was very worried, but still like, okay, I got to do this. I have to find out if she's going to be part of my life or not.
And how was she? How did it go?
And it was tough for the first conversation. She didn't want to speak about it for 6 months, and she basically kind of shut it down, but I didn't understand where she was coming from. And after those 6 months, she explained to me that when she was younger, she had 2 transgender friends, transgender women, who one of them realized that this wasn't the solution to all their problems. It was simply changing their outside to match the inside. And they ended up committing suicide because it didn't fix their problems. So her standpoint was that transitioning is what led to her friend's choice in that. So she was worried I might make the same choice or face the same kind of discrimination. Luckily, society has changed for the better, at least in Canada, Vancouver area.
Yes.
So after we had a heart-to-heart conversation and she explained her side of things, it was a lot easier for me to understand that. And since then, she's been really supportive, understanding that it's a physical change. It's not an emotional or personality change.
Right.
I'm still the same kid that she raised that likes going fishing and catching snakes.
Oh, catching snakes. I love that. You know, one of the things that I think is really cool, and I've always wanted to ask a trans person this. So you've had that unique experience of what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be treated, I think you said like a piece of meat, as a woman in the modeling world, and what it's like to be a man. Tell us, give us some insight into having seen it from both gender lenses.
Yeah, it's interesting, the differences and similarities. Being a male model, it's not necessarily that different to being a female model. You're still looked at as, oh, you're this look, this is what I'm looking for, and if you're not what I'm looking for, then never mind.
Right.
However, I noticed that agencies are not quite as strict about weight when it comes to the male models. Whereas female models, I've seen models literally become anorexic within a week because of one comment said by an agent, because they're like, I need to lose weight if I want to get those jobs, and for them, they're spending so much money on trying to get those modeling jobs that if they don't book anything, they're just taking a financial loss. And if they're coming from families that can't support them for their hopes and dreams of being a model, that can be a crushing blow. So they're literally putting their lives at risk to do these jobs.
Tell us now how, in that world of being a trans man, successful model, you're finding yourself, on a cover with, is it May Musk? Is
Yeah.
it Elon
Yes.
Musk's
Elon
mother?
Musk's mother.
Right. So I mean, like that. This is a big deal. Like, what does this moment feel like? In when you're like, here I am. I'm here. Me, Krow. I'm here.
It's kind of like out of this world and kind of, I don't know, almost dissociating. Like, I'm here, but how did I get here? Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just being the right person they're looking for a certain thing, or having the right support system.
Yeah.
So for me, it's, if I didn't have the agencies that I have right now, I wouldn't be able to be submitted on such a wide scale, and having GQ, having Vogue,
So cool.
meeting May Musk and being able to chat with her and having those experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about just being at the right place at the right time with the right people.
And
being the right guy.
Yeah.
Being the right guy.
The thing that's disappointing to me, though, is it feels like just as we're making headway, just as we're starting to go, okay, well, there's acceptance and tolerance, and everybody's going to live their authentic life. It's none of my business what
Wouldn't
your
that be great?
gender is or sexuality or whatever. And then just lately, we've seen so much polarization and pushback and anger directed at the trans community, even here with the big rally.
We talked about it earlier in the show.
protests.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's interesting to see society moving forward while also moving backwards. And a huge thing about at least what's going on in the States right now is the laws that are protecting transgender people and genderqueer people as human beings, as human rights, are stripped away quicker than they're created. And regardless if it has to do with transgender or not, the fact that human rights, what proves that you are a human being in society, can be stripped away by the decision of some angry people that have political power. I mean, that could happen here. They could strip away the human rights for not just transgender people, but anybody.
Right.
They could take away women's rights.
They come for this, and then they come for you.
Exactly.
Whoever that is.
They test out what they think is the weakest group of minorities, and when they see, oh, we can take away power there, oh, we can take away human rights, who's to say they won't go after anyone that doesn't fit a white man?
Why do you think people who are the most intolerant, unaccepting homophobes, anti-trans, screaming about it, like red in the face, screaming at somebody about it. What's broken in them?
What do you do when you're afraid of something? Do you run or do you scream? And if you're not taught how to run, your only option is to scream.
Interesting.
But then let me ask you this. What I do not understand about this is that people who are the most intolerant or afraid or uneducated seem to think that trans people are groomers and pedophiles. What, can you disabuse them of that?
Human beings make choices regardless of what they are, what they're born as. So if you look statistically, the majority of criminals are white males. Statistically.
In terms of the groomer?
Statistically, yeah. Because they are a large portion of the population.
Yeah.
So they have more opportunities to make good or bad choices because there are more of them.
Let's bring it back around to the origin stories, you know, your amazing documentary, the way you've shared. If there's somebody watching right now who is feeling that their outside doesn't match their inside and they need to have the conversation with the parent, or the parent who likely already sees that and is scared of it, what's a little nugget of truth or advice? I don't know if advice is the right word, but something that you would give to them?
I think a huge thing is establishing a support system for yourself even before coming out to your parents.
Right.
For me, I found that the cosplay community in Vancouver area was very open and accepting, and there was a bunch of people who were from the queer community, trans, neutral gender, gay, bi, anything in between. And because of that, I felt that even if things at home did not go in a direction that would work out for me, at least I knew there were people in my life that I could rely on, regardless of the result.
A family you chose.
A family I chose. So knowing that you have a family to fall back on if things don't go well with your real family, it's a good thing to have, because a lot of my friends that have been, that are transgender or neutral gender have not been accepted by their family, and conditional love is not actual love.
Yeah.
If you can't love your child because they have made a choice, then you never loved your child to begin with.
Amen. Conditional love is not actual love.
It's a lot. And if your folks need a beat, let them take a beat, right? If your parents need a second,
if they need a second,
to the parent that's like, but I had plans in my head.
Yeah.
Right?
It's hard when you see a future crumble before you, even if it's not your own.
There it is.
Yeah, you accept.
You are very wise. You are a very
Krow,
wise
Kian,
person.
thank you so much. Where are you off to next?
Off to next? I don't know.
Big modeling gig anywhere?
I mean, I've heard of a couple things possibly going on in France, but
I don't think you can say literally. I think you got to keep it on the.
Thank you so much, Krow. Best of luck to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been great.
Love it.
Yeah, please come back. You're just full of the wisdom that we need to share, and that's what this show is definitely all about. Even as we go to our next segment, which is what's wrong with people?
It does seem kind of appropriate that our What the Hell segment features a bunch of angry white guys who are boycotting Bud for being inclusive. We're going to explain when we come back.
There's a happy ending in there, I promise. There is.